Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really cool Zen riddle. It asks a question that sounds simple, but the answer, well, it gets to the heart of who you really are, underneath it all. So the great Zen master 15.Linji once told his students, "Do not be deceived by the clothes I wear." It's a strange thing to say, right? But believe me, this one sentence is basically a key to unlocking a totally different way of seeing yourself and really all of reality. Now, obviously, this has nothing to do with fashion. It's a huge metaphor for how we perceive everything. So let's unpack this riddle together and see what we find. Okay, so Linji started with a really simple, everyday observation. He basically said, look, people see my monk's robes. Maybe they're blue, maybe they're yellow or red, and they immediately get stuck on the color. They mistake the cloth for the person inside. They're just looking at the surface. Yeah, for Linji, clothes are so much more than fabric. They're a symbol for everything we layer on top of our true selves. Think about it. Our jobs, our titles, our relationships, our political beliefs, all these things we use to define ourselves. Linji says those are just clothes. So, if it's not just about the robes on his back, then what are these metaphorical clothes that Linji is talking about? What are we all wearing that might be fooling us? Well, the first and most obvious layer is our own body, right? We identify so strongly with how we look, how old we are, our health. But according to Linji, this is just the outermost garment. It's a temporary outfit, not the real you. And then you've got the next layer, words and concepts. You know, your job title, your nationality, even your own name. We build these huge identities around these labels. But really, they're just clothes. They can change in a heartbeat. And it goes even deeper. Linji says even our karma, the whole collection of our past actions and their consequences, that's just another garment we're wearing. Sure, it shapes our current experience, but it's not the fundamental essence of who we are. Just look at this list. The layers go on and on, from our physical bodies to our deepest thoughts. And get this, even the idea of enlightenment can become just another fancy costume we put on, another way to hide our true nature. Linji warned that when we cling to these clothes, it's like getting totally hypnotized by a shadow on the wall. The shadow is there, it's real in a way, but it's not the actual substance. It's just a temporary form, not the formless reality that's casting it. And here's where it gets really tricky. The danger, Linji said, is that we get trapped by the very things we think are leading us to wisdom. We start collecting more and more clothes, more knowledge, more complex ideas, more labels, thinking that a bigger wardrobe is going to get us closer to the truth. We just get so caught up in the words, in the scriptures, in the theories, that we completely forget what they're pointing to. It's kind of like going to a restaurant and studying the menu so intensely that you forget to actually order and eat the food. You miss the whole experience. This classic Zen saying just nails the absurdity of it all. We use our minds to search for our own minds. I mean, can you imagine? It's literally like riding on the back of an ox while desperately shouting, "Has anyone seen my ox? It's right here. It's right under you." And to really hammer this point home, Linji used a metaphor that is, well, it's pretty unforgettable. He said that passing on secondhand, undigested knowledge, just repeating what you've heard without truly understanding it, was like chewing on a lump of dung and then feeding it to someone else. It's a graphic warning for sure, but it gets the point across. Don't settle for pre-chewed ideas. The story of Linji's own awakening is the perfect example of this entire process. It shows us how he was basically forced to shed his own clothes of intellectual understanding. So picture this. Linji's a young, earnest monk. He's studying hard and he goes to the great master Huangbo because he really wants to get to the absolute heart of the matter. He's looking for the final answer, the ultimate concept. He asks this huge, profound question. What is the true essence of Buddhism? He's hoping for that one perfect answer that's going to explain everything. And the master's response? No words. No deep philosophical lecture. Just a sharp, sudden blow with the stick. Linji was completely floored. He asked for a concept, for a piece of clothing, and instead he got a physical shock. Now, Linji was confused, but he was also persistent, so he asked the same exact question 2 more times. And each time, whack, he got the same painful answer. He was so dejected, he basically concluded, well, I'm just not cut out for this, and he decided to leave the monastery. So on his way out, he goes to say goodbye to another master named Dayu. And when Dayu hears this whole story, the three questions, the three beatings, he doesn't offer any sympathy. He just starts laughing. And then he says, Huangbo was being as kind to you as a grandmother. And in that instant, bam, it was like a lightning bolt for Linji. It all clicked. The beatings weren't punishments. They were a direct, compassionate teaching designed to shatter his dependence on words and ideas and force him to have a direct experience of the truth. So through this really harsh, but ultimately kind, lesson, Linji finally got it. He realized the truth he was looking for could never be found in words or concepts. It was something totally formless, totally pure, and completely unclothed. So what is this ultimate reality? The true Buddha, as Linji called it, isn't something you find out there. It's simply your own mind in its pure, natural state. It's not good, it's not bad, you can't put a label on it. It is the silent, aware presence that's been wearing all those clothes the whole time. Look, this isn't just some ancient Zen story. It's a mirror. It's a challenge for every single one of us. So take a moment and ask yourself, what clothes are you wearing right now? What identity, what belief, what story are you telling yourself? And what would it feel like to just take it off?